Victoria Womhunda from BBC Africa, and we are live on Facebook, as you can tell. And I have a lovely guest today, Jacqueline Shaw, the founder of, let me see if I get, Fashion Africa.
The book and Africa Fashion Guide, the company.
Welcome to BBC Africa.
Thank you, man.
Now, let's first get on. Why are you here? Why do we have you on today?
Today is a very special day because we do an annual conference every year. And today, right now, I've just come from the conference today to meet with you and let guests know all about it. So it's a Fashion Africa conference. A conference that brings together different people through the African fashion industry, through the ethical fashion industry. And it's an amazing event that's happening that we do every year in London.
So now let me touch on something that I know a lot of people always want to know and ask. What is African fashion?
Yes, this is like the hot question. Many will say there's nothing, that doesn't mean anything. Some will say it's just fashion from Africa. Some will say you should just say fashion from the continent. But I feel that it's an expression from Africa's own people, about their heritage, about their culture. It's an African designer who's doing fashion. It's however anyone wants to express it.
You can own it however you see fit.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you and your heritage is from Jamaica. Your parents are Jamaican.
Yes.
And that also kind of go into how did you get into this African fashion and fashion for Africa?
Well, I always like to talk about, even in my book, I mention about the fact that my grandfather was from the Maroon tribe. So their origin, he's Jamaican, but the Maroon tribe were runaway slaves, basically. So brought to the Caribbean from Africa. We're just not sure exactly where. I haven't done the test yet. But of course, it's West Africa. So I like to explore my heritage. I like to explore I love textiles. I love textiles which are made by hand. That really gets me going.
Well, I mean, look at what you already have on, and tell us about this, the kente that you're wearing, your jacket.
Yeah, so this kente is Ashanti kente in Ghana, and it's strip woven cloth, so it's done by hand and it's done into lots of strips which are then sewn together.
So each color, the yellow, the blues and the
there's
black,
different stories within the pattern. So you see the bottom of it is a different design, but there's different stories and different meanings, and this goes way back to heritage. The same like the bag that I have, I got this in Burkina Faso. This is called danfani, and this is fabric that is also hand woven, but it's done on a wider loom, whereas the Ghanaian one is done on strip weave sewn together. So these are kind of things that I just love because it has a personal touch.
And also something that when you see it, you know that it's a kente and you know it's from Ghana.
Yes.
So guys, hi again, it's Victoria and I'm here with Jacqueline. Today we're talking African fashion. We're on Facebook Live. We want your comments. We want your questions for Jacqueline and I'll put them to her. So if I can look at one of the comments, they're coming in thick and fast. So Mohammed Ibrahim Kamara has a question for you and I hope you can answer him. So Mohammed, here you go. Do you have plans to train and empower other women on the African continent to wear and design African clothes like the ones you're wearing?
That's an excellent question because personally, my personal vision and hope is working with women, and women are the ones who empower families. So they will, if you employ a woman, you're basically helping the whole village. They bring back something. So that's really my heart, is empowering women. You could say I'm a feminist at heart. I really believe in that. So that is something I'm building towards, and definitely using sewing skills. I think it's something that you can use to impact lives, basically.
So how do we empower women, say in a village, in Rwanda, in Zimbabwe, anywhere?
I would say it always comes with understanding the gift that is within you. So telling somebody that what they can do is actually, like, making something like this is actually a craft, it's a gift, it's something that is special and unique. Yes, you can train in it, but you have to have a love for it. And telling somebody that that's quite special, that empowers them to go on and think, I can do better with my life, and they can, and you give them the opportunities to do that and explore different ways of getting that work out.
You mentioned something about having people work for themselves, making it happen. There's this, I don't know if I can call it a trend, or there is a movement, we can say, of, say, buy Nigeria, buy Ghana, buy Rwanda. And there is a hashtag, especially on social media such as Instagram, where it's hashtag made in Africa.
Yes, yes.
How do these kind of trends help the African design or the African fashion?
I believe it helps because it raises an understanding. And one of the things I really focus on is about changing perspectives. So people may have one idea in their head what Africa is, and then we're like, this has been made in Africa. Oh, wow, that's amazing. You know, to think that this is done in Africa, I didn't realize that. And recognizing it as a luxury thing. So I think that's really part of the importance of that.
But there is also the commentary and people who are actually now saying those things which are made for Africans or made in Africa, and you mentioned luxury, some of them, the cost of them, then you start wondering who are they marketing towards, because buying I'll give you an example, I won't mention designers or anyone, but I was just recently in Kenya. And I always go, you buy, you know, your earrings, you buy your skirts, your dresses, but then you realize that the prices, I could be able to afford it, but not so many people on the continent.
It depends who their market is for. I mean, I know that in Kenya they're trying to do more, and the same with Rwanda, they're trying to do more for their own local market. And I believe that that's kind of the way that it's going. The Africans want to explore their own, but there is still a mindset of something that is from abroad is better. And that's an unfortunate thing, because there's so much beauty in the designers I see. But I mean, there's deeper issues in this, because if you have to import fabric, import yarn, I mean, 97% of cotton, 97% of cotton grown in Africa is exported. So to bring that back in, the value is getting lost. Whereas if you can grow it, if it's woven, then you can make the clothing, you know, just like in Asian countries, or US, then you're keeping the value there, and so things can be cheaper. But to import, export, there's all kinds of challenges, and countries that are landlocked, it's even more expensive.
But then how do we then, taking your point from the cotton, where so much of it is actually from the continent but is exported to be worked on and then brought back in, what can our countries, African countries, do to make sure that we keep our cotton and we work on it on the continent to make the prices cheaper for the consumer? I
think the issue is bigger than you and I. It's governmental, it's to do with, you know, it is a lot of ingrained things that are going to go beyond us. But I think one of the things that we do have is resources. And Africa's a very young continent, but we also have the opportunity of remittances. The money that is sent back, more foreign direct investment, but coming from Africans who are doing business outside and bringing that back. Many Africans, diasporans, are going back home to Africa, and they're expecting a similar lifestyle, or they want to do business. There's so many business opportunities in Africa that are just like, wow, I'm thinking of getting into agriculture or things like this. I'm like, there's opportunities, and that entrepreneurial spirit is what I love about Africa. That's what I'm in love with when it comes to Africa. So I think that it's Africans working within themselves and trying to make that happen. I think that's kind of where it's going to have to go. Or we wait for the governments, and that could, who knows?
Take forever.
It could take forever.
All right, guys, it's Victoria once again from BBC Africa, and I'm here with Jacqueline Show, fashion designer and author of the Fashion Africa. We're doing a Facebook Live. The noise you may hear behind is because we are in the middle of London. We are actually on the balcony of the BBC headquarters in London, so life bustling out and about. It's lunchtime, everybody's out and about. And keep those comments and questions coming in. I have one from Ted Alex, who wants to know, how can more established fashion industries, the upcoming designers, how can they break into the more established fashion industry? Because you keep hearing of the Milan and the Paris and the London. How does an up-and-coming African designer break into that industry? I think that's what Ted Alex wants to know.
You know what, Ted, right now Africa's on trend. We were just saying that's a good and a bad thing, because it could just come and go, but there's also the fact that there's a difference. You see this, you don't, okay, maybe someone like Mizoni might do something similar with knitting, but when you sell what is African, you sell what is yours, you're given that point of difference. don't come in and try to be like the high street. I'm a designer for like the last 15, 16 years, and you just end up repeating what other people are doing. You take this and you slightly change it. And to be honest, that's, as much as I love fashion, that side is quite boring.
Yeah.
When you can explore what people, when they don't have access to all the fabrics that are out there, they just have what they have, but they're using their traditional techniques and bringing that into contemporary fashion. There's many designers that we won't mention, but there's many who are doing that, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
You're breaking it modern, you're making it contemporary, you're making it for the market that is there now, the youth that is there in Africa now.
Funny that you mentioned the people, other designers who are doing it, kind of incorporating the African print. I want to bring the question or the issue of cultural appropriation. When do we call it cultural appropriation, or when do we call it I'm paying tribute?
Well, I mean, okay, there's so much on this, but where do we start? Okay, first of all, there's no African print unless it's batik that is done, so the hand block print.
Just tell people where the African print is from, because people always get surprised.
Yeah. It's wax print, which is Dutch, which was originated from Indonesia. Yeah. So it's not actually African, but Africans have adopted it and they've made it their own. So, you know, I do wear wax print at times, but I really like to promote what is actually African. You know, like these Fulani earrings. You know, these were made
gorgeous,
Mali. Mali.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, the kente, the danfani.
Yeah.
All these things that are actually African. That makes me proud, because it's the handcraft. I know somebody has molded this.
Yeah. Use the time.
You know?
And, yeah.
But cultural appropriation is a challenging one. Like I went to, when I bought my fabric, she's from Ghana.
By the way, sorry to kind of, the nails are also matching. Just putting it out there. It's just on point. Going on the cultural appropriation.
Yeah. I was told that they're actually, in Holland, a Dutch company is actually doing kente, which is done by machine. So it's not the strip weave, which is done by hand. It's a machine done in Holland. So I've been raising this question on my own Facebook page for Africa Fashion Guide. You can go and have a look. Lots of comments came back. Yeah. People are not happy because that is something so traditional, and it's like, this is something that is passed down through generations. It's a community thing. In Ghana, it's done with men. In other countries that do hand woven, it's women. Like Burkina Faso, it's a lot of women weave. But it's a community thing. And you take that away and you bring it to the machine. Yes, some things need to be industrialized, but we don't want to lose the craft, you know, and the essence, like you said. That's what gives it that originality and that newness and that air, you know, it gives it that place in the market that makes it different. Just like Ted was asking.
Ted. Well, Ted, there you have it, guys. Again, keep those comments coming in. There is one that I want to highlight, and it's Katarina Peters. You said, "Hi, beautiful people." That will be us, I guess. Hey. Thank you for that. African prints are amazing and nice to see. And you know, she's writing from the Netherlands. And there is this whole thing of young women. I speak on my own behalf. It wasn't just until recently that I actually could go out wearing my African prints, kitenges and all that, dress, a skirt, or something. Because it was something that was always for my mother and my aunt's generation.
Yeah.
What's changed? Because you see a lot of young black women and men wearing.
I think fashion as a whole has become a whole melting pot fusion. I mean, you know, like now you have genderless clothing, so like men's and women's clothing is becoming one. Yeah. And I think just generally people are mixing things. Like I see Africans wearing saris and things to African weddings, and everyone's mixed up. They become one big culture, and I think that's the beauty of it. So now there's also a pride in being African. Yeah. You know, every other market has been overused and it's just become boring, but Africa's like the hot topic, so I'll be proudly African. Yeah. Yes, I am. Like back at school, everybody wanted to be Jamaican, okay, all the Africans, and now, I'm Caribbean, originated from Africa down the road, but I'm proud and I will call myself an African because that's who I believe I am, and I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of the heritage.
We are owning our own.
It's an understanding of who you are. When you read back and you realise the strength of who you are as kings and queens, you can build that tribe, and that's something that was being lost, you know, for African people, but is now being rebirthed. Yeah. So it's great.
From that, I'm going to ask you my own question.
Yeah.
So it's just on the conference that you are holding this week, started today in London. It's called Africa Fashion's Future. What I mean, taken from this point that we just had with, but that was just a slight mishap. It's windy. Taken from that one point that I had on us now, young people wearing all these clothes that you see us. What do you mean by Africa's fashion's future?
I used that because I wanted to raise conversation. I know it's quite debatable, especially for fashion, because they will be like, oh, what can Africa do?
Yeah.
Africa doesn't have all the machinery, the opportunities, the staffing, the skills, etc., etc. But I'm like, are you looking at the potential? So what I've said is Africa, fashion's future, that statement, and an African opportunity. So that's the subtitle of the conference. So I'm saying that there is an opportunity for Africa to step into that space, because now everyone's, China is doing its own thing, and people can't really do so much there. They're going to Bangladesh, they're going to Cambodia. America's doing the whole America First now with Trump, so there's that. They're trying to keep it there. And they're like, where's the next sourcing region? Where can we next produce? So Ethiopia's become a hot topic. Rwanda's now getting rid of second-hand clothing and focusing on their own production. Kenya is trying to focus on its own production. The whole East African region are trying to focus more on that and less about the second-hand clothing. So I think that there's an opportunity to do something. But there are challenges. There's not all the machinery, there is a lot of high costs, there is issues with exporting and so forth, and a lot of landlocked countries, like I said, so they have to go through many countries or do air freight, which is more expensive. So, but I think it's one of the things that are being explored because the fashion industry is looking for new regions. And so that's why Ethiopia is hot right now, cheap electricity and the workforce, and there's cotton, and there's so many things, but that's a debatable topic. We're going to Ethiopia right now, but there are opportunities on the continent.
Okay, cool. Guys, again, we're Facebook Living with Jacqueline Show, fashion designer and author. She's here in London because they're holding African Fashion Conference. It's going on now in London, and she's written these wonderful books with so many pictures and the prints, trying to promote African fashion and fashion designers. And questions and comments have been coming in, so we really truly appreciate these guys. There is one question that Abul M. Agwerding is asking, and if you can just elaborate a bit on, is it possible to have a fair trade market or African print fabrics market by Africans in Africa?
There's two different questions: fair trade or a fair trade market or an African print market?
I think he meant like a fair where you go and you can look at, you can touch, you can buy, you can.
I mean, there are
lots of those.
Yeah, those are happening. But I think he's also asking about the fabric as well.
Yes, I mean where you can go and buy fabrics but by
Africans. In Africa. Well, there are things. Even this week there is, I wish I could be there, the Lagos Leather Fair, and it's promoting the fact of, like, there's a lot of leather in Africa, but a lot of it is exported. So we think of leather as Italian, but there's Italian firms who are buying the leather from, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Nigeria, all these countries that are producing the leather, but then they tan it, they chrome and tan it in Italy. So then it's seen as Italian, but it's actually sourced from Africa or other countries. So this leather fair is exploring that and is showcasing different brands and suppliers who are doing this. So there are various ones. I mean, there's a couple that I'm going to be heading to. Origin Africa, Source Africa is happening this week as well. Africa, footwear show is happening later as well this year. Apparel footwear show later this year as well. So we're having our own expo here in London to kind of bring Africa to the UK / Europe. Are we still in Europe? I think we're still in Europe. Let's not in the EU.
Well, still a few more years.
Well. So it's bringing Africa here so that brands can explore. We've had retailers come to our events before, and there's others coming today and tomorrow for the conference. So there's definitely opportunity. People are looking for newness. Everyone's getting bored of being the same and wearing the high street brands which are very, very low value, and they want to be different.
Have quality.
No one's got this coat.
Well, it is lovely. I mean,
unless you pay me, I'll make it for you. But no one's got this coat. And Rob too behind the camera. But
shout out to Rob, who's been slaving behind the camera. So before we round up, There is a comment actually from Sonko Buba. Thank you very much for reminding me of this actually. It is Africa Day today. And
Yes,
here we are
I
talking
know,
about
I
Africa
know, I
and
know.
African fashion. So Bob, thank you so much for that. Now before we round up, I just want to ask this question for anyone who is watching, who is listening, or who might hear this from a friend. Jacqueline, as a fashion designer, you've been in the industry for decades.
Yeah.
What tips and advice would you have for people wanting to break into the fashion industry?
Don't do it. Okay, so there's two levels: working for companies, for brands and retailers, or working for setting up your own business. I will always encourage entrepreneurship because I'm an entrepreneur at heart. But I have worked for brands and retailers in 4 different countries now. And it's something where you've really got to believe in yourself, because others can make you feel that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Because that's fashion. You're good right now, and tomorrow you're yesterday's
gone.
news.
Yeah.
So you have to hold on to your own beliefs in that and pursue. You may have to start at the bottom, but you make your way up. If you're doing your own thing, again, like I was saying earlier, it's about having something original and different. Let me not just do another denim shirt. You know, I was in Burkina Faso and they do they've done funny in hand-woven fabric, and they have indigo there, and they do this and they're making denim.
Yeah.
So it's something different. It's like, oh, it looks like denim, but it's hand-woven and it's indigo from, you know, that region. So you can add your own spin on things. Use what you have and add your own spin to create your own creativity, and market as hell, because if we don't know about it, in these days you've got all the options. There's
Social
no
media,
excuse.
yeah. So perseverance,
100%.
your own spin on it,
Self-belief.
self-belief.
Yeah, that's been my one. Self-belief.
Market yourself for all your worth.
That's right.
Well, thank you so very much, guys, and
Thank
you
you.
for watching, for allowing us to come into your homes, into your offices, into your streets, wherever you are. I'm Victoria Womundo with Focus on Africa, or BBC Africa, and my guest today is Jacqueline Shaw, a designer and author. And if you want to know more, I put some advice and a link to the Facebook after we finish. But thank you so very much for watching, and keep coming for more.